G'day and welcome to episode 3 of SmallBizTV. I'm really excited today because I get to feature two people who've had a very positive effect on my businesses, Glenn Murray from DivineWrite and Patrick Zuluaga from PMZ Marketing. Let's just hear quickly from Patrick now.
Hi everyone, Patrick Zuluaga from PMZ Marketing. What I focus on is small and medium-sized businesses, and I achieve better marketing results for my clients. How do I do that? Basically, helping them measure and getting more relevant marketing messages that are important to their clients. You can reach me at www.pmzmarketing.com.au. Thank you.
Okay, today I want to talk about search engine optimization. A lot of my clients ask me questions about this. I'm certainly no expert on it, and I can tell you when I was having trouble with Google and with my rankings and my websites, I turned to Glenn Murray from DivineWrite. Glenn's written an ebook which is more than 200 pages. Here's the address. It's called SEO Secrets, the Do-It-Yourself Guide to Topping Google. And I can tell you that after I read it, it's very step-by-step and it's written for muppets like me, so you should have no problems with it. But after I'd read it, about 4 or 5 weeks after I'd read it, I was suddenly on page 1 of Google, where before I was on page nowhere. And then within about 6 or 7 weeks, I was ranking #1 for my specific key phrases and keywords that I wanted to rank for with the travel site in particular. So, and it's very much step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then you'll have the good outcome with the Google ranking at the end. I'm happy to flog it because it changed my business, really. It saved my business in a lot of ways, and I owe a lot of that to Glenn and his work. So I wanted to interview him for this week and for the coming weeks, and just to share with us a few little secrets, a few little tips and tricks to get yourself ranking better on Google as well. And this week I started by asking him, what's the difference between paid and organic search results? How do the search engines work? And what is search engine optimization, or SEO?
Glenn Murray here from DivineWrite. I'm a freelance copywriter, operate out of home on the Central Coast. And Nick's asked me to answer a few questions on SEO and blogging and that sort of exciting stuff, so I'll do my best to fill you in and give you some helpful information. So what's the difference between paid and organic search? Well, the biggest difference is, well, that you pay for one and you don't pay for the other, directly anyway. Probably the best way to explain the difference is to show you. So here we go. Now this, on the right here and just above the search results generally, is the paid listings. That's the non-organic. They're the results that you can pay for, and if you know what you're doing, it becomes a question of how much you pay as to how high you rank. Down below in the main section you have the organic listings, and in this section here you can't actually pay for a high ranking directly. Having said that, you can engage an SEO professional to get you a high ranking, and obviously you're paying there, but you can't pay Google to give you a high ranking. Because that's the difference in terms of how the paid and organic listings look. The other big difference, of course, is that most people will look at the organic listings, whereas they won't look at the paid listings. So if you want a long-term solution, it's always far more cost-effective to get yourself in the organic rankings. How do search engines work? Well, they send out a robot called Googlebot. Well, Google does anyway. Sends out a robot called Googlebot, and Googlebot reads your site and jumps from page to page through text links, and it figures out what the most frequently used words are and assumes your site is about that subject matter. So if your site is about running shoes, and you would naturally have lots of the word running shoes on your site, when Google sees that you have the words running shoes on your site, it assumes your site is about running shoes. It's fairly logical. That tells Google what your site is about, and there's more to it than that, but for now let's leave it at that. I'm sure Nick's subsequent questions will cover off some of the more detailed stuff. So that tells Google what your site is actually about, From there, you have to convince Google that your site is important in that subject matter, in that domain. So if you run a site on running shoes and you want Google to think you're important so that it will rank you higher, then you need lots of other sites to link to you, because ultimately it's like a big election where every link is a vote, and the site with the most votes wins, simplistically put. So essentially it's about making sure that Google can in the first place read your site, and I've assumed that to begin with. Google will then send Googlebot out. Googlebot will read your site, figure out what the most frequently used words are and a few other things, and then it will effectively count how many links there are pointing to your site. And if you've got a site that is very clearly about running shoes and there are lots of other sites pointing to linking to your site, especially if those sites are about running shoes or something related, then it will assume that your site is not only about running shoes, but it's a good source on running shoes and will probably rank you quite highly. What is SEO? Well, SEO is the art of optimizing your site so that the search engines can read it, so the Googlebot can scan your site and access your pages. And it's the technique of making sure that your pages do feature the right words in the right places. So if your site is about running shoes, that it has enough instances of that phrase, running shoes, but it also has other related words that Google would expect to see if your site naturally was a site about running shoes and it was actually helpful. There'd be Google would expect to see other phrases like socks and blisters and all sorts of things, not just the phrase running shoes. If it sees just the phrase running shoes, then most likely that site will be some sort of spam site. The third component, so there you have making sure that your site is readable and making sure that your site features the right words in the right places. The third part of SEO is ensuring that there are lots of links to your site, because as I said before, the site with the most links wins, and that's simplistically put, but ultimately that's what it comes down to. So you have to go out there and try and get as many links to your site as you can.
Thanks, Glenn. The other person I want to feature today is Patrick Zuluaga. Patrick actually ran the first seminar that I ever went to as a small business owner, even though I wasn't at the time. I was just about to launch my own business and I madly went around to as many things as I could, and Patrick's was the first one. And it really struck a chord with me because I'm not that great at sales. So if you're not really that into sales either, PMZ Marketing do a very good job of working on small business and medium-sized businesses' conversion rates and how you can get through the sales process to a positive outcome at the end. And in this series, there's a series of 5 interviews coming, but in the first one with Patrick, we just talk quickly about how the secrets to increasing your conversion rate.
Well, hi everyone, Patrick Zuluaga from PMZ Marketing. Welcome and joining us for the marketing series. What is the secret for increasing your conversion rate? We have 5 segments in the marketing series. The first one really is to set the foundation for increasing your conversion rate. Now, it's not a secret here. One of the things that you need to focus on in getting the foundation right is understanding who your customer is. As I said, it's not a surprise for us. It is basically understanding who your target markets are and who are your customers in those target markets. You may have more than one. The other one is to look at, for each of those target markets that you're developing, you will develop a customer profile for each of them. An ideal customer profile. What's in the customer profile? You need to understand what their drivers are. What's the business drivers? What are their pain points? What are they looking for? You need to understand this intimately. You need to also look at what's the buying process of your customers and what is their selection criteria. What are they looking for? This is key. Next, you need to understand what is their preferred marketing communication medium. What do they like to listen to? You need to go where the fish are, not where you prefer to fish. Okay? Keep that in mind. So what you have now is you have a profile that you can actually say, oh, that's John, that's Charles. So you can personalize that profile. The whole purpose of coming out with an ideal customer profile is to have a name behind it. So when you're writing your marketing message, you do write to a person. And that person in that market would be saying, oh, that person is writing to me. That's my message. That's relevant for me. Okay? Next thing to do in the foundation for your customer conversion rates is to use direct marketing techniques. When I say direct marketing, that means you have to put out a relevant and compelling offer. What do they want? Not what you want to sell. You have to give them a time limit and a call to action. That's what's direct marketing all about. Lastly, and this is the key, this is the secret, to use conversion persuasion scenarios, which we'll talk about in segment 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. So in the next 4 weeks, we'll see the rest of the series I did with Patrick, which, you know, is invaluable really too if you're not that great at sales, like I'm not that great at it. So that's it really for Small Biz TV episode 3. What I want you to do is feel free to email me any questions or anything you'd like covered in specific weeks. We've got a few of these already done now, but if you've got a burning question about small business marketing or online marketing or social media marketing, please let me know what you'd like us to cover, or if you'd like me to interview anyone specifically, and we can cover that in upcoming weeks. Please also don't forget Glenn Murray's ebook, SEO Secrets, if you want to do a better job of making friends with Google and getting more out of your search engine results, organic search engine results, without having to pay anything. That book will help you. There's no way, you know, I feel I have any hesitation in recommending Glenn and his work, and that ebook is just gold. For me, it was anyway, so I'm hoping it works well for you too. I hope everything's going well in your own business and in your lives, and I'll see you next time on Small Biz TV.